Good evening. Good evening, everyone. How are you? I am so excited to be here tonight. This is my first solo broadcast of the year. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm Sonia Moore, the execution strategist. And what I do here is I talk about planning, people, and processes. So, I want you to work more as the CEO in your business instead of the worker. So, that's everything that we talk about here. So, tonight I'm really excited to come to you so that we can talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and it's brainstorming. And I want to talk to you about why brainstorming will beef up your bank account. Let's get into that. So, I will be right back and we will get into that. All right, we are back. I hope you're excited as much as I am because I know I have some gems I want to drop for you tonight. But before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. I want to make sure that I know who is joining me so I can give you a shout out. So, in case you might need to do this, I want you to please visit StreamYard.com/Facebook so that you can make sure you give StreamYard permission so that your name can be visible if you comment, because I want to show you some love. And also, I want you to engage in the comments, right? So if you are new, I want you to do hashtag newbie and tell me where you're from. And if you are an old timer, someone who has joined me in the past, then I want you to do hashtag OG. Again, I want to show you some love because what I'm sharing, I want to engage. I have a lot of CEOs that tune in because that's what I do in my business. I really help you with planning people and processes so that we can give you peace of mind. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about brainstorming, okay? Brainstorming, when it comes to planning, let me just say this, is something that is underrated and overlooked in the planning process, okay? There's a myth out there, and I'm going to bust it tonight because the myth is there's no time. People don't have time for brainstorming. They want to go right into the planning. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to just bust that myth right out of the water because planning is important. I'm not planning, brainstorming. Brainstorming is very, very important because that's where all the money is. That's how you beef up your bank account, okay? Because when you're brainstorming, you're able to pull other people into your vision. You're able to stop and think about what it is that you want that idea, that new launch, that product, what you need to bring to the table to make it come to life. Okay. So, brainstorming is so important. And this is where you can just kind of live and dream a little bit because it will anchor you. And what I mean by that is brainstorming allows you to provide clarity to those that you're bringing into your vision. So, this is where you sit back, you close your eyes, and you think about all the goodness that you want your launch to bring to you. Okay. This is where you just stop and you think about that for a minute and you just think about everything and where you will be, how you will feel, what you will do after you have just slam dunk that thing that you're trying to do. All right, so let's talk about that a little bit more. So you might see me look down as I always do because I have notes because I want to make sure that I drop all the gems. So let me see who has joined us. Okay. Javaki has joined us. She said OG. Okay, yes. Tara, yes. Dayton is in the house and South Carolina is in the house. So thank you so much for joining. All right, so brainstorming. When we think about that, you should really be spending 20% of your time brainstorming in the overall project that you have. And that's very important because when you are spending that time, as I mentioned before, brainstorming, it is bringing other people into your vision. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why and what you need to do to brainstorm so that you can beef up your bank account. We're going to keep this very simple tonight. It does not have to be long and drawn out. It's very simple, but I want you to materialize what it is that you're trying to make happen. All right. So, what's the first step? I kind of mentioned that a little bit, but focus on what success looks like. So, this is that dreaming part, right? As business owners or team leaders, we're just launching into making sure that we are providing great direction and that we're hitting our goals. But you need to focus on what success looks like. So, that's when you sit back and you close your eyes and you think about these things. How will it make you feel when you succeed? Why are you doing it? This is your why. Why are you doing this thing? And what does it mean to you and the team? What does it mean? You're doing this for a reason. And what will winning do for you personally? This is focusing on what success looks like because this is the main driver of all the action steps, all the things that you're going to do in the future when it relates to this. And I love to use the term, it anchors you back to your plan that you end up creating. It anchors you back to your why. So if you get derailed, you're able to go back and say, wait a minute, this isn't feeling like success. This isn't feeling like I thought it was supposed to feel. So let me see if this is really working, if this is really what I need to make happen. So when you're able to brainstorm, that's coming from you as the head, as the leader. And one of my favorite saying is, if you can't articulate your vision, no one else can. And no one else should be able to. So if you don't take the time to understand your why, what success looks like, you can't effectively translate that to any other individuals that you're bringing in to assist you to bring that to life, to turn that idea to income, to beef up your bank account. So this is why this step is so important. You can bring other people into the plan, into this particular process, but this is really about you because this is the starting point that you begin to articulate and it becomes the launching pad for all the planning steps that you do. And brainstorming essentially is really one out of a 5-step process that I teach to CEOs and team leaders. So with the brainstorming, again, you're at the head of this. You're the owner, you're the visionary. So this makes everyone aware of the why, and you are working with them to do the how, because that's where everyone becomes invested in the idea. You're able to get other people's expertise to be able to polish it and to make it even better, but they need a starting point, and that's where you come in. So first is focusing on what success looks like, okay? And you want to write this down. Just write it down. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be sexy. Just focus for a second, write it down, and then just think about it and meditate on it. Because again, this is ultimately what you're trying to bring to life, what you're trying to do in your business. So focus on what success looks like. Number 2, think about what you need. Again, this is brainstorming. Think about what you need. What you need are the tools and the software. These are those things, equipment. Sit back and think, okay, I know my why. I know what success looks like. What are the things, the tools that you're going to need? It doesn't matter whether you know how to use those tools. Simply, what are those tools and what are the software? What's the equipment that you're going to need? Because at that point, you're able to bring in the people that are going to make that happen and work in their zone of genius, as I like to say. So again, as the visionary, it's not up to you to figure out how to execute. You're just going to bring in those individuals to be able to do that. But again, it starts with your vision, because as you can articulate how you want this to roll out and the feeling you want people to have and what you want the feeling to be for you as the business owner, this allows those individuals to fulfill that for you. That's why brainstorming and that focus part is very important. So think about what you need in the way of tools, software, equipment. Next is number 3. Consider who you need. I kind of alluded to this a little bit. So the who you need are the individuals that you're going to have to bring on board to bring that idea to life. This is when you're bringing in experts. And the experts, they could be experts in the form of service providers. They could be interns. They could be volunteers. They might be employees. They might be family members if you want to do that. But who you need is very, very important, because those are the people that are going to take your vision and take it to the next level. So that's why brainstorming again is so important, because you're laying it out there and then you're kind of putting it in a box of what you want done, but how it gets built, they're able to now lock into that and give you ideas that are going to blow your mind, because it's not your zone of genius, it's theirs. And that's where that magic happens, because they're feeding off of your energy and your guidance to be able to make that happen. So considering who you need in the way of using those tools that you talked about, and giving an example of a who could be hiring a social media manager. It could be hiring someone to create your website. It could be hiring someone to assist you with your administrative emails, such as a VA. It could be someone that you need to manage the project. So this is where you the boss. This is where you truly are the CEO. Again, you're creating just an outline through this brainstorming experience. So let me see what some of my audience are saying. Okay, hey Kayla, thanks for making perfect. Great. She says she loves it. It makes sense. Yes, yes, yes. She's a fellow strategist as well. So yes, we're on the same wavelength there. Let's see. Trina says 100. Yes, yes. Cherie says, hey, see, let me just pause here for a minute. These are some of my CEO Society members chiming in here. So they're getting all the goods. Yes, yes. This is awesome. All right. So let's keep going. So 3, consider who you need. We talked about that one. All right. Number 4. And this is the last one. Number 4, brain dump your thoughts. Yes. So brain dumping, I love this. So this is where you might pull out that whiteboard. I have a whiteboard right here, a piece of paper. You might brain dump on your device, but this is where all the things that we just talked about, write them down. Again, doesn't have to be sexy, doesn't have to be pretty. Just grab that piece of paper or your device, pen, and just write. The next step, which is part of my formula that I teach, is the planning, and that's when we prioritize that, but that's not what we're focusing on right now. This is just getting it out of your head and putting it on paper, because once you do that, it breathes life into what you are doing, and you know now, and you begin to see that it is going to happen. It can happen because you are aligning yourself and surrounding yourself with the individuals that you need in order to make that happen. So this takes out that feeling that you are alone, because you're not. We often end up in that space because we're not allowing other people in, because we have a tunnel vision mindset of no one's going to do it just like me. No one, I can't delegate this. I'm the only one that can do this, or I've been burnt out or burned by a bunch of people and I don't want to let this go. But I'm going to tell you this. You're not allowing yourself the ability to be that CEO. You are missing dollars and you're not beefing up your bank account, because you can correct all this by sharing the vision, because that's going to be something that's coming from the heart. People are going to feel that and they're going to want to help you do that. So brain dump your ideas. And when you brain dump them, you just get a piece of paper, like I said, and just write them down. Just think, like I just talked about, what is it that you need? Just write it down. Don't worry about how you're going to get it. Who's going to do it? Just write it down. And then once you brain dump, walk away and then come back. Look at it, walk away and come back. And this might take you a couple of days. Again, allowing yourself time in order to manifest it, because who wants to create something such as a launch or a new project and not see the full reward because you didn't allow yourself time. That is one mistake for a lot of small business owners and frankly, just people all over the world when it comes to planning. They have the best idea, but they are skipping the steps when it comes to strategically planning. They're skipping the brainstorming. They're skipping adequate time that they need to allow people to be the expert in their field because they want things done in 2 weeks. You tell me anything that has been rushed. Tell me how that has turned out for you. Sometimes it is, and sometimes you do have to do that, but should not be the norm. That should be when it needs to be because of the circumstances, but that should not be the norm. If you're trying to launch a new product, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to at least have a 2-month runway. At least a 2-month runway. Because there's so much lead time. Again, brainstorming allows you to really think through all of that because brainstorming is allowing you to feel what it is that you're wanting to do, understand, create the vision. Then you begin to bring in the people that are going to assist you and they bring the reality check to it. So bringing them early into the process allows you to truly assess the time things need. Because when you aren't doing that thing that expert is doing, the assumption is it doesn't take that long. But until you actually do that thing and you realize, oh, wow, I thought that was only going to be something that's going to take you like 3 days. And they're like, no, boo, that takes more like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then they begin to tell you why it takes that long. And you begin to appreciate that, value that, and say, wow, so this is what it takes for it to be excellent. Then I want that. Okay, now let me think about some stuff. And we don't allow our time to have that type of allow ourselves to have that type of dialogue because we're just trying to do. But when you're the visionary, you want to have intentional conversations with the people you're bringing in as experts to understand what it is that they need to do. You're not doing it, but you need to understand to figure out where it fits in the grand scheme of things, because you, again, know how you want it to make you feel. You know what you want it to look like when you deliver it to the community, to your clients. And that's your reputation. You don't want to be known for someone that's always rushing for something. And I'll say this as well. You know you have skipped the brainstorming process when you are in the middle of planning something or in the middle of a launch, right? It's launched and you're out there in the market with it and you're like, dang, I wish I would have had time for. I wish I could have done. Or someone who is an expert in that area, because you didn't give them time, tell you 4 or 5 things that they could have done to generate more revenue for you. So if you're creating a course and you're just so thinking about creating that course, you thought about all the potential revenue that you could have purchased or you could have fed into that plan to generate more revenue for you. So brainstorming allows you to think beyond just that core element of that thing that you're trying to do, and allows you to see the branches and to see the additional opportunities that you can't see because you're in that tunnel vision. You want to see the big picture, and that is what a true CEO does. That is what these $1 million business owners, 6-figure, 7-figure individuals are doing. They're not looking at just that core. They're looking at all the potential that's around it that can help them grasp not just the money, because it's not just about the money, but more reach, more people that they can bring in to helping and serving on whatever it is that you're doing. So brainstorming has some great benefits, not just beefing up your bank account, because yes, we're in business to make money, but we're here to serve. And we want to serve with excellence. And spending at least 20% of brainstorming time allows us to do that. So the benefits is that collaborative thinking that I talked about. That's, you're not neglecting others' output. You're bringing other people in. So collaborative thinking is a bonus to brainstorming. That monetizing at every level, where I talked about, it's not just about the corporate, all the opportunities surrounding it. That is the ability to monetize, to beef up your account at every level, not just one. It's multi-dimensional, taking one idea and maximizing the heck out of it. The next thing is you begin to have a do it together mentality. not just do it alone, because that's where we feel alone. We get burnt out and overwhelmed because we're trying to do all of these things. Again, you didn't let anyone into your vision, but we want to do it together. That's another benefit of brainstorming and seeing that big picture, going back to what success looks like, the big picture. Go back to your goals of why you started your business. Go back to your mission statement, your value statement. Everything you do should tie back to those two statements. That's how you know you're on the right path of walking out your purpose of what your business is supposed to do. And then lastly, it's just that team involvement, right? The team involvement. You cannot scale without structure and without people to help you, depending upon how large you want to be and how big your dream is. Brainstorming allows you to do that. So let's see some of these comments. Let's see. Kayla says, seeing the bigger picture like a corporate business, that's a different mindset I haven't thought about. Absolutely. That's the secret sauce, Kayla, is seeing the bigger picture, not just that one thing. That one thing just gets us started. It's like the root of a plant, but it's those branches and that tree that grows. That's the big picture. And you have to take time to do that. And if you want to grow, we want to think, even though we're small, we want to think big. And being able to do that is key to that. That's one of the secret sauces that I took away from corporate America, is that you got to see the big picture. Barbara Williams says, brain dumping is a process. Honey, yes, it is, Barb. It is a process. And I have a whole teaching. In fact, I'm going to be doing a workshop on brainstorming, which includes the brain dumping process. That is a whole process. And it's a fun process, but you definitely need to know how to do it to make sure that you're bringing all of your things into fruition. Let's see. This Facebook user says, it feels good to be able to have a safe space to share. Absolutely. That is what the brainstorming experience does as well. It's a safe space. There is no such thing as a silly question or a silly idea. It's where you really just think blue sky. You just think about it. Don't worry about thinking of anything that won't happen. When you start the planning process, you'll begin to really focus it and hone in on it a little bit more. But brainstorming, no limitations with brainstorming. Let's see. Tara says, I love this brain dumping to get it out of your head. Absolutely. There's so much that's just in our head. And yes, I do help people get their ideas out of their head, but you can also do that for yourself as well. But it's allowing the time to be able to do that. And Cherie says, brain dump session. The brain dump session is always a game changer. Yes, it is. It's an absolute game changer, and it gets you thinking about your business in a much different way. And you begin to realize, I am a CEO. I am leading a business. Absolutely. And Trina says it's so, so important. So yes, thank you so much for your comments here. I have another Facebook user that says, articulate your vision. Yes, I cannot express that enough. How many people have you talked to and you have asked, so what's your vision for this project? And they're like, I don't know. Or I have no idea. So it's like, so how am I supposed to execute, be that service provider for you and be excellent in my craft if you can't tell me the direction that I need to use my gift to help you bring your idea to life? It's that simple. And when you think of it that way, it puts it in perspective. You own your vision. Now, you might need help to get it on paper like we're talking about here, but when you're ready to contract with someone, to collaborate with someone, to bring them in because you need their help, this is where it's game on, and you have to articulate and speak that. Because if you can't sell anybody else on your vision, why should anybody buy it from you? Ultimately, period. I mean, just period. Yes. You know, I can talk about this all day. And then how will it make you feel? The why anchors you back to your plan. Yes. I'm a very logical person. And if I'm doing something, I want to know why I'm doing it and what the outcome, the intended outcome should be. That's where you start, because everything in between is feeding into those two ideas. And that's why that's so important. It anchors you back and it keeps you focused. because it's easy to have other people derail you. It's easy for you to get derailed because there's so much chaos going on. There's so many different things. You're going to all these different webinars. People are telling you, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Oh, I did this new system, or I went to that. There's just so much. So this is where you ground yourself, because you started with the focus of what success looks like for you in your why, and that anchors you back, and it makes the response to say no thank you, or I appreciate that, I'll keep that in my mental Rolodex for next time, thank you very much. You can stand very firmly planted in that. And then the goodness that you want your launch brings to, yes, that's the goodness, right? Again, it's the goodness of what it is that you are bringing to the community, because it's a reputation of you. It's why you're serving. So brainstorming allows you to factor in all of the individuals that are going to be impacted by what you're bringing to market. And there could be different perspectives that you need to factor in that you may not even considered, because you didn't stop to brainstorm, because you're thinking like this. And when you're brainstorming, you think like this, which can be scary, but you're able to see the opportunities that you may have and will miss if you don't. It's all about maximizing your revenue, maximizing your time. We don't have time to waste, especially in this pandemic. We want to make sure everything we do is intentional. We want to make sure everything that we're doing has purpose. We want to make sure that everything that we're doing is going to make sense, and that it ties back to, again, your why. So, all right. So let's just do a brief recap. So the keys to brainstorming and beefing up your bank account is: 1, focus on what success looks like. Okay. Number 2, think about what you need. That's the what, the software, the equipment, anything of that nature. What is it that you need in order to make this happen? Number 3, consider who you need. Who are those individuals that are going to help you bring it to life? Those collaborators, those partners, the individuals that you're going to actually need and to hire, the employees, all of that. Really think about who you're going to need, because you'll be surprised of the people you need, because this is where you do and delegate, which is a completely new other system that I actually teach on too. And then number 4 is brain dump your thoughts. Everything you have in here, put it on paper. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful on why brainstorming is important to beef up your bank account. Okay, brainstorming is very, very key. It can be fun, and I hope you have a different perspective on what brainstorming can bring to the table for you. So I hope you include this in your next launch, your next project, your next initiative. It could be something you're even doing for your family, because the formula and the things that I teach can be used in all areas of your life. So I want to walk away with this and just let you know that if you want more tips and you want some great more people planning and processing tips, then I want to invite you to join my CEO Circle Facebook group, where we continue the conversation after the lives. So we start the conversation here, but the CEO Circle is where I continue to give you more advice and guidance and templates and pool tools and things of that nature. And you get privy to some things that are coming up as well that are going to help you in your business, because what I do is I help you gain peace and order through planning and processes. Okay, so join my CEO Circle. And if you're already a member, excellent. We're going to continue to amp it up, because this is second quarter, y'all. Or it'll be second quarter soon. We're about to hit second quarter, and I know people are getting ramped up. So I want to make sure that you have what you need. All right. So that's how I'm going to end this session. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I will see you soon. Let's see if there are any other comments. Let's see. Yes, let's see this last comment. When I did my brain dumping session with you, felt like a relief, but to see it written out is a whole different feeling. Complete game changer. I can clearly articulate my brand now. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It frees you up so that those other ideas can come in. Yes, I love that. I love it. And then Tara says, thank you for the tips. You are more than welcome, Tara. All right, I'm going to end it there, folks. I want you all to have a wonderful evening. And then until next time, I want you to stay strategic.